Hi, everybody. I was asked to do a deeper dive into this subject, which I'm going to get into kind of right away here. And it's regarding um, human mind, moving beyond the mind, and into what we call Brahman, or the infinite. Anyways, the human mind, again here, it's not a singular or stable entity. It's not a fixed kind of thing. It's rather a stream of continuous flowing bundle of impressions, associations, interpretations, habits, memories, identities, beliefs, reactions, fears, desires, all of these things. In essence, it's just conditioning. The mind is conditioning. And this is where we start. So understand that this layer upon layer of lived experiences, these inherited traits, social learning, cultural frameworks, this ancestral karma, habitual tendencies, are from the composite structure that we casually refer to as my mind. But what we call my mind is never truly ours. We didn't create it consciously. We inherited much of it. Okay? We absorbed the rest. From infancy and onward, the mind begins constructing a model of the world based on sensory input and the need for survival. So, to navigate this world, it forms conclusions. Some are conscious, most of them are unconscious, and these conclusions become our conditioning. These are our biases and our prejudices. Like, as an example, if a child cries for love and is not met with tenderness, the mind may conclude, I have to be quiet to be accepted. So this becomes one of their core beliefs, right? The belief lives on in the subconscious and it shapes behavior for decades. So multiply that by thousands of such impressions and responses, and you begin to understand what the mind actually is. It's this repertoire of patterned responses designed not for truth, but for survival and for predictability. This is why two people can experience the same event and walk away with entirely different interpretations. They aren't even experiencing the event. They're experiencing their conditioning's response to that event. So we don't perceive this reality directly. We perceive reality filtered through the mind's interpretations. So the mind then takes these interpretations and weaves a sense of an identity. This is who I am. But if the mind itself is a bundle of these borrowed thoughts or conditioned ideas and all of these survival-based habits, then who exactly is the I which it speaks of? Okay? And this is where the inquiry begins. To go beyond the mind here, we have to first see the mind. It sounds really simple, but it's radical in its implications. Most people live as their minds. They don't see their thoughts. They are their thoughts. They don't witness sadness. They become the sad one. They don't observe anger. They are angry. So the essential shift is this here: to recognize that you are not your thoughts, not your moods, not your reactions. You are the awareness in which they arise. So there is awareness of anger, which is completely different. And this realization, it's not conceptual. It has to be experienced. And this is where mantra meditation becomes very essential. So a mantra it's not just a sound. It's a vibrational key that stabilizes the attention and discerningly turns it inward. In Sanskrit, mantra comes from manas, or mind, and tra from tool or instrument, right? A mantra is literally a tool to transcend the mind. And when you repeat a mantra with attention and devotion, we have to find what this means personally and subjectively. It begins to draw your awareness away from the turbulent surface of thought and into the quiet witnessing center of your being. And as the mind slows, you begin to notice something very profound here. I am watching my thoughts. I am watching these thoughts. The act of watching reveals, I think, quite a stunning insight here. That which is observed cannot be the observer, right? So the thoughts are observed. The thoughts cannot be the observer. It sounds very, it's simplistic, but it's also difficult a lot for individuals' mind to get here. And if you can see your mind, then clearly you are not the mind, because you can see it. The mind is the object. So the practice of mantra meditation done sincerely, daily, with consistency, it's very important. It cultivates this separation between the observer and the observed. It's not done instantly. Sometimes, but very rarely. It takes us time, effort, consistency, and it's a process, like learning anything else. So this process weakens the identification with mental content and strengthens the awareness of the one who watches, right? We abide in that space of the awareness, the observer. And who is this, right? That's the question that opens the gate beyond the mind. So the mind, in its conditioned state, perceives the world through fragmentation. It must, because it itself is fragmented. It divides reality into subject, object, self, other, this, that. So this division, it's not inherently real. It's a projection of a mental mechanism which must categorize in order to function. That's why the mind is a tool. So the mind, to the mind, this I am here and you are there, this is mine and that is yours. I am my story, my wounds, my beliefs, my preferences, and everything outside of that is not me. This is what the mind does. This perception creates constriction. It fences in the infinite into a small psychological box called me. And once we define ourselves by these mental boundaries, I am a father, I am a mother, I am a failure, I am spiritual, I am not enough. We become trapped in them. Let's pause though for a simple question. Have you ever truly touched the border of your being? Have you seen a line between you and the sky, right? Between you and the breath, between you and the other? Or are these just imagined borders? So when the mind rests, even for a moment, in deep meditation, this imagined boundary collapses. You feel yourself not as a name, not as a role or a story or some narrative, but as the sense of presence itself, spacious, silent, and interconnected with everything. It becomes clear that what you call I was just a series of narratives built from this conditioning, narratives playing out in a loop. The mind projects the illusion of separation and then it suffers from it, right? The mind projects the illusion of separation and then suffers from it. So we can recognize the illusion, right? Not reject the world, just recognize it. This is the anchor of this realization. You are the witness of all inner movement. Every thought is seen, every feeling is noticed, every memory arises, and you are aware of it. So who are you. You are not the thought. You are not the feeling. You are not the sensation. You are that which knows them. The mind says, I am anxious. But in truth, anxiety arises in you. You are aware of anxiety. It comes, it goes, but you remain. And this is for any emotional state. They come and go, but you remain. When we get caught up in the emotional states, we confuse ourselves for that, and we perpetuate this unhealthy cycle within ourselves. We create suffering, and we have to. And this witnessing presence has been with you your entire life. No different. In childhood, it was there. In heartbreak, it was there. In moments of joy and loss, it was there. It doesn't age. It doesn't change. It's untouched by the contents of experience. So this presence is what you truly are. Not the contents of the mind, but the conscious space in which the mind arises or unfolds. And in meditation, this becomes very clear. You watch your breath. You hear the mantra. You notice a thought arise. And something in you doesn't follow it. Something just watches. And that something is the key to this freedom. And the moment you remember this truth, that you are the watcher, not the watched, a space opens inside you. And in that space, there's this sense of peace. And in that peace, there's freedom. In that space, the entire illusion of the conditioned mind, it begins to dissolve. So if you're not the mind, and you're not the thoughts, and you're not the feelings, then what? What are you? And I feel to answer this, I think the ancient sages pointed towards what you are, through pointing towards what you're not. And this is the path which is called neti neti. Not this, not this. You are not the body because you can observe the body. You are not the emotions because you can feel them rise and pass. You're not the thoughts because they are seen. And you're not the personality because it changes. You're not your name. You're not your history. You're not your opinions, because these are all content. You're not content. You know this. You are the knower of that content. And you also know this. So what remains when everything that you are not is stripped away? In Sanskrit, we call it Atman. So Atman is the true self, the unchanging, ever-present awareness that watches all phenomena without being any of them. It's not a thing that you can locate. It has no shape, no boundaries, no form. You can't see it because it is the seer. Atman is not a new idea to be believed in. It's the felt sense of this pure awareness that remains when the mind is settled or quiet, when identity dissolves, when you rest in the I am, not I am this or I am that or anything, just the I am, without adding anything to it. So it's not born, it doesn't die, it doesn't react. It just is. It just is. And this I amness is not separate from anything. It's the essence of all. And this point, we kind of stand at a threshold. The Atman, the self, with a capital S here, is beyond the mind. But why? Why would it be beyond the mind? Because it's not an object within the field of thought. It can't be described, it can't be owned, it can't be conceptualized. It just simply is. So the moment you try to grasp it, you will lose it, because the mind wants to turn it into something known. Grasping at it, you're convincing yourself that it's an object of the mind once again. It's content, but it's not content. Atman is not known, it's the knower. And this knower, this Atman, is one with the very fabric of existence. In Sanskrit, this truth is revealed as I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahman. Brahman is just simply the totality. You could say existence itself. The totality and beyond existence. Existence, non-existence, everything imaginable, that's Brahma, the totality. It's not a dogmatic thing, it's a word which describes the totality. And this all-pervading, infinite, formless ground is that of being. It's not God as being, but God as being itself. Brahma is not something that you believe in. It's what you are. Once all false identities, they fall away. I hope you're following. And this Brahma, through unfathomable, it's never apart from you. It's not distant. It's closer than the closest. It's closer than your breath, more intimate than your thoughts. You've never been apart from it. You only imagine separation through the veil of the mind. So the unknown is not foreign. It's your own source, is what you rest in when the mind goes silent. It's what you are before the mind begins to speak, before that mental chatter, before the narratives, the beliefs, the ideas, the ideals. So the journey back to Brahma it's not a journey in space or time here, right? It's not a becoming. It's returning, a remembering of what has always been. This is what you're left with when you recognize you are not those narratives, you are not those feelings, you are not those thoughts. Those thoughts and feelings, they're clouds in the sky, they come and go, they pass. And when you sit in meditation sincerely day after day, something profound happens, and it has to happen. The layers of identity begin to loosen, the grip of thought weakens, the silence between the thoughts begins to expand. And in that silence, you begin to taste a different quality of being. You begin to sense something vast and unmoving within you and all around you. There's no boundaries, right? You begin to know the unknown, not as an idea, but as a felt presence. And that presence is home. The presence is Brahman. So this realization isn't an escape from the world. Not at all. Not at all. We're not suppressing. We don't suppress anything ever. It's not spiritual bypassing either. It's not about rejecting the mind or suppressing experience. It's about seeing clearly, seeing that everything arises within awareness. And you are that awareness. And that awareness is this infinite itself, is that Brahman. You have the ability to clearly reflect on yourself as this. You still move through the world. You still speak, you act, you create, you feel. But now you do so from the center of being, not from the turbulence of the mind. And this is a kind of true liberation here. Not freedom from life, but freedom in life. So to know Brahman is to be rooted in truth. And to live as Atman is to walk through the world with clarity, compassion, and unshakable presence. There will be moments that will throw you off, but keep returning, and every time you do, it just strengthens. It becomes more prominent. You are not the mind. You are not the story. You are not the narrative. You are not the seeker. You are that which sees, and that is whole.